Hey, what's going on, everyone? I just wanted to make a quick video about the Syndicate member cheat sheet that I just saw posted on Reddit. I have seen a bunch of information posted, but this is one of the best illustrations that I've seen. It's very, very informative. I saw this posted a few hours ago by Eliminator, and he gives a lot of the references that he used for the image and a lot of the information that he used to edit into the image. So credit where credit is due, and I was just going to quickly go over it with my thoughts. Um, so on the left, you have transportation, fortification, research, and intervention. These are the four divisions that you are going to want these 17 different syndicate members in, and green being the best, yellow second best, black grayish third, and the worst is going to be red. Starting off with Ashland, by far the best one that you want her in is research because you can add a veiled mod for free. And some of the mods, including just the veiled mods, you have +1 totems, which is 2x, and you have +1 curse, which isn't available right now, but will become the 3.5D patch will be re-enabled, and that will also cost 2 exalt. If you have a really good item, you could, and with the open affix, you can add those mods for free using Aslan if she is upgraded to level 3 or if she's a safe house master. Chimeria is somebody you're always going to want in your syndicate. You never want to remove her. All of her options are very good. The most consistently profitable one is probably going to be the Harbinger Orbs because you're guaranteed to get at least one or multiple Harbinger Orbs depending on her level. But a lot of people are going for the Sulfite Scarab. And the Sulfite Scarab, if it's fully upgraded, it goes for what, like 15C or something like that, more 10 to 15C, depending on what you want to sell. But the Time Worn item is pretty good. That's why there's a picture of the Veranastra and a Headhunter, because it allows you to get a old unique, league specific uniques like a Headhunter or a Veranastra. So all of the divisions are good for Chimera, which is why you always want her. Elrion is one of the worst syndicate members to have. You get the unique weapon, armor, jewelry, and the relics scarab, which just gives you more unique items whenever you use it. It's not very strong. Uh, it's not guaranteed to get a league specific unique like Chimeria. So he's one of the worst, which is why he's in red. Gravicious can be kind of rippy with certain items on him. In my opinion, by far the best crapshoot to take is the full stack of div cards, because what this can do is give you a full stack of the Doctor, which is the div card set that gives you a Headhunter, or you could possibly get a House of Mirrors, which will give you a mirror. Um, the other division you could possibly put him in is into intervention at a low level. I wouldn't try to level him up too high, but he'll give you a div card scarab, and when you encounter him when he's intervention, he could also drop some div card scarabs as well. uh, Guff is also one of the worst syndicate members in my opinion, highlighted in yellow. I don't know why. The chaos spam crafting is okay. So what you'll get is you'll get a certain amount of time, I think 20 seconds, to just chaos spam an item that's in there and try to make something useful. Try to essence spam or annul and exalt spam something. There's a video, I think Mathel had Guff in his research division, and he was able to craft like a really, really strong item. But the odds of that happening are so, so low that if Guff has the option to get removed from the syndicate, you could consider it depending on what other members are available. Haku is absolutely terrible. The only option that's halfway decent is the Strongbox Scarab, which is really good for maps, especially when you combo that with like a Monstrous Treasure Prophecy and you're running it on certain maps. It's pretty good, but the rest of his items, you don't want rare items. He gives you a pretty crappy random Strongbox at the end, and rare items with quality, which are probably going to be junk. And they're not always going to be over 20% quality, which is going to come from Hillock. So Hillock allows you to get over 20% quality on any item, including maps, which is really good. So if you didn't know, having 20% quality on an item improves your chances of 6-linking that item. So on average, it costs somewhere between 1,200 to 1,500 fusings to 6-link an item without any quality, which is why Verici guarantees you to 6-link an item for 1,500 fusings after you unlock him. which I believe you have to kill all or Kurgle. I can't remember which one because it's been bugged. But one of those gives you the option to 6-link with Breachy for 1500 fusings. Now, you can actually get your quality now up to 28% using Hillock. And if you're trying to 6-link a rare item, you can actually craft up to 16% more quality. You can actually get up to 60% quality on an item now, but that would require multi-modding. But it is there, and it should be pretty easy, much, much easier to 6-link items the higher the quality is. Also with weapons, the higher the quality, it improves the damage of the weapon as well, especially usually the physical damage of the weapon. It's not that hard to craft somewhere close to a 500 Fizz DPS Harbinger bow now, or get like a 400 Fizz DPS Thicket bow, or a 400 Fizz DPS like one-hander, just multi-modding the item. But you really want that quality to be as high as possible. I don't know why Helix in red here, but these are good for you, especially if you're like solo self-found or you're just trying to improve items on your own character. These aren't really great things to use to sell in the marketplace, which might be why it's in red. But there are ways you can combo this with some of the other things available from the Syndicate members, which we'll talk about later. If that fled is notoriously rippy, a lot of the Syndicate members' damage is going to get nerfed come to 3.50 D patch, which should be out in a couple of days after this video. But she's really strong if you can get her as the leader of your safe house and get the fully upgraded breach zone, which allows you to upgrade like a Zoth breach zone to like level 84, which is just way more rewarding. A lot of people run it just for the XP. It gives a lot of XP per hour, which is why it's in pretty high demand for people that want to level up their characters really, really fast. But the rest of her options aren't that great. I would say the next best option is probably the Abyss Jewels, depending on the level of your safe house or what level you encounter her at. She might drop some Abyss Jewels, and they could possibly be like a high level 82, 83, or higher. And like eye level 82 searching eye jewel sells for like 5, 10, 15 C. Depending on what eye level it is. So that would probably be my second option, is to stick her in fortification, which actually makes that encounter a lot harder. So I wouldn't really try to go for that until the next patch. Janice is pretty good. I definitely would not want to go put her in intervention because the Paranda Scarab isn't really that good. But you can't get upset with the rest of her options and putting her in any of the other divisions because you can't get upset with free currency. The currency shard is probably where you want her in fortification because there is a random chance, even if she's just level 1, that you could possibly get an Exalt shard or, hey, possibly a Mirror shard. Jorgen. Jorgen is somebody that you really want to pay attention to, especially you really want to put him into research and get him leveled up at least to 3 or possibly be the safe house leader because it gives you the option to transform any amulet with a talisman implicit. Talismans implicits are completely different than what you can get from Valing or any of the other implicits that are available. So you can get things from a talisman implicit like 10% plus quant, or increased global defenses, or like increased evasion, like increased stats. These are things that are great, especially on like tier 1 uniques, tier 1 unique amulets, where people don't really care too much about the implicit, like a presence of Chayula or Azos blood. So if you had a lot of currency and you encounter this room and you're able to fully upgrade it, I would go out and buy those items and take that crapshoot and apply that on that item. Apply it to like a presence of Chayula or something because it's not going to break. The only risk you have is that it could possibly become like just something that's just as useless as the regular implicit, or you could possibly get like 10% quant, which will make that item extremely valuable. Moving on to Carell, her options are okay. The fossils highlighted here in yellow, I don't really agree with because it's kind of a crapshoot and it's weighted. So the matte fragments to me is the best option because shit, that was loud. I'm so sorry. But the matte fragments are always going to be useful for yourself, and there's something that you can sell on the market if you get like a Moral Hope or something like that, or Shaper Fragments. And then probably the Elder Scarab. If she ends up in intervention, that's not too bad. Or I wouldn't worry too hard. Leo, you're probably going to want the random currency. At level 3 or higher, I believe he drops up to 3 random currency items, which is how someone was able to get uh, 3 mirrors. Uh, I believe that's how they were able to do it. Definitely would not want Leo in your intervention because the tournament scarabs are pretty bad. Silver coins are okay. And being able to use a random thing on an item that you have is okay as well. But more than likely, you're going to want to put Leo in your fortification. Riker, probably want to take one currency. You never know what you're going to get. The rest of the options aren't really good. The take one div card here is highlighted in yellow, but I think compared to Gravicious, which can give you a full stack of div cards, this is kind of a waste of time because there are much better Syndicate members you want to put in Intervention. I would not waste any time trying to put them there. He ends up in any of these other divisions. I would try to get him over to Transportation if you can, given the option. Ren is very, very, very good. All these options are pretty solid, especially if you're a solo self-found. The first option in Transportation is okay. Any rare map is all right. You're at least guaranteed to get like a couple alks, maybe. Same way with the unique maps. But the big thing is the Cartography Scarab. If you can, fully upgrade her or him uh, if you can. Uh, I would actually think that this is probably the best out of the Sulfite Scarab, Div Card, Strongbox. Like out of all these options, it's the best, especially if you're running Elder maps. You can get a lot. It adds so many more map drops. It's absolutely insane. Which is why it's worth a lot. Tora, she is notoriously rippy as well. As long as like it that fled, even without any items, she can be pretty bad depending on the map mods. We'll see what she's going to be like come the patch, but her best option is going to be putting her into the research division for the gem XP. And what the gem XP does is it allows her to give up to 200 million experience to a gem. So you can almost instantly upgrade a level 2 Enlighten to level 3. And so it just saves you so much time leveling up gems. And then you could just try to instantly valid to try to get that level 4 Enlighten, which goes for like 5 Exalts or somewhere around there. Not exactly sure, but that would be her best option. If she ends up in Transportation, that's okay. But having her in research, I don't think she's that rippy down there in that tunnel. Fagan is probably the worst Syndicate member. And if you can remove him from the Syndicate, if you're given that option, go for it because he is really bad. You don't want any of these rare items, especially after the first week in the league, because it's more likely he's not going to drop anything with any good rolls, and then you just have to craft it. You just pick crap off the ground, and it'll be better. Perici is also one of the strongest and best members of the Syndicate. You absolutely want to get this guy into your research division, and you want him leveled up as either the Syndicate Master or get him as a Sergeant. To at least get like 2, maybe 3 white sockets on an item. And what you want to do is, especially on item like 6 socket items, is you don't need to have it on a 6 link item. You want to have it on an item. You want to apply the white sockets to something that's either 2 or 3 sockets itself. So you can just go and force something to 2 or 3 sockets yourself, and then you want to apply this mod. And what it'll do is it'll give you the white sockets on your first 2 slots. Okay, so then you're going to so this way you don't have to, if you apply it to something that's already 6 sockets, those white sockets could go on the first and the sixth, all right, or the first and the fourth, which isn't that useful, especially if the item isn't already 6 socketed. So if it's not 6 socketed, make sure that you just put it on something. Even if it is 6 socketed, you probably want to force it to 2 or 3 sockets so that you're guaranteed to have those 6 white sockets on that item. And then after that, and in the right spots, and you're never going to lose it if you have to use the Verici socket method. That's the reason why, guys. That's the reason why you want to put that, do it that way. And then you can combo this with Haku, or not Haku, but Hillock, and force item to over 28% quality to try to 6 link it later. This is a very, very powerful combination. If you do it properly, you can make some really good items with it, especially some of the unique items. So I'm thinking something like a Lionized Vision, which is just an armor evasion chest, especially for spellcasters that use a lot of blue sockets, or a Queen of the Forest, because a lot of people want to go fast, even though it got nerfed. It's a really good item. Uh, Also, Soul Mantle is a decent item. Avis Mortis, Shafts, that's another good item. A Shroud of the Lightless is a really good item, which I know should be somewhere else. A Belly of the Beast, decent. It's not as great as it used to be. Um, but there are a lot of good uniques where you could just go out and buy them if you're in a trade league for cheap. Even a Cloak of Defiance, that's another one. Carcass Jack, definitely in Impulses. Impulses might be the best one. Uh, you want to like just go out and buy like a one of those items with a good roll on it already, and then just force it to 2 or 3 sockets. Put a couple of 2 or 3 white sockets on that item, and then try to 6 link it later using Hillock and getting the quality higher. So those are my thoughts. Hopefully you found this helpful. Just sharing this with you guys, with everyone, guildies and everybody included. And I'll leave the link down below, and any comments or questions that I can think of later that people might ask, I will try to include those in the description. But I'm going to try to keep this video short, and I hope this was informative. Bye.